Hey guys, Isabel here. We are back for another book review. So I realized I haven't done a book review in quite a while. Also because I haven't really finished like a lot of books these days. I haven't been reading a lot these days because, life. The fuck? The hell is my hand so dirty? Life happens. But I didn't realize where I last ended off, and come to realize that the last couple books that I have read a while ago haven't been shared. So yeah, we're gonna go through that, and hopefully I remember what these books are about. So first we're gonna start off is This Is Where It Ends by Marikeek Ninjkamp, and it says, everyone has a reason to fear a boy with the gun. So it says, 10 a.m., the principal of Opportunity High School finishes her speech welcoming the entire student body to the new semester and encouraging them to excel and achieve. 10:02 a.m., the students get up to leave the auditorium for the next class. 10:03 a.m., the auditorium doors won't open. And 10:05 a.m., someone starts shooting. Told from 4 different perspectives over the span of 54 harrowing minutes, terror reigns as the students' calculated revenge turns into ultimate goal of survival. So this is about a pretty much a school shooting, and pretty much is about just a school shooting, and it's told again from 4 different perspectives of 4 different friends, and one of the perspectives, it's her brother. Spoiler alert, I guess, even though it's not really a spoiler alert, but in case there's any spoilers, I'm sorry if you haven't read this already, but yeah, it's about a school shooting, and it's really like, the thing about school shootings is like, yes, it's awful and it happens a lot. I'm sorry for those who have been through stuff like that. It is such a tragic thing to happen, and I don't understand why it happens. Like, I don't understand why school shootings exist. Again, if I were to make a podcast, I'd talk all about this and rant about all this kind of stuff, but it's such a tragic thing, and I know it happens a lot. But the thing with school shooting books is that it's super intense, and it's super like, so like motivating, not motivating, but like intense to where you don't want to put it down type of thing. You want to keep reading to see what happens. And yeah, you just want to keep reading and reading to see what happens, and because it gets more intense the more you read. And of course, I think we all know the statistics of school shootings and how that ends. It's either death by a cop or suicide. I will let you read on how that ends, but it was such a good book. I think I rated it an 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, one of those two, but this was good either way, and I enjoyed it a lot. Next is The Cellar by Natasha Preston. It says, my stomach dropped as a tall, dark-haired man stepped into the view and had been hiding behind the trees. No, sorry. Gulping, I took a step back. I'm not Lily. He shook his head, a satisfying grin on his face. No, you are Lily. I'm Summer. You have the wrong person, you utter freak. I can hear my pulse crashing in my ears. How stupid to give him my real name. He continued to stare at me, smiling. It made me feel sick. You are Lily, he repeated. Before I could blink, he threw his arms forward and grabbed me. I tried to shout, but he clasped his hand over my mouth, muffling my screams. My heart raced. I'm going to die. 4 months, Summer was trapped in a cellar by it with the man who took her and the 3 other girls, Rose, Poppy, and Violet. His perfect, pure flowers, his family. But the flowers can't survive long, cut off from the sun, and the time is running out. So, I didn't know she was a Wattpad sensational artist, and I definitely had no idea. I always thought, like, I've seen this book around all the time. I have never gotten around to read her type of books, but I've always read them, or I've always saw them, and I've, like, always had a, like, type of description of what I felt like they would be about, but this completely took a turn of, like, it, like, ruined, like, the whole thing of, like, what it was going to be about, and it was also super intense, and such a Criminal Mind-esque, like, type thing. It was super good, and I really do enjoy it. Natasha Preston is also such a good author. I think I've read a couple of other books by her, and I also do have another couple books of her. I have The Fear in the Lake, and I know she made a lot more that I do want to get as well. But this one also keeps you on your toes. It's super kind of gross here and there because there's sexual assault in it, but it is, and the like. There are deaths in here too, like murder scenes, but they're not like super grotesque. It's just simple like stab, oh they bleed out and die type of thing. So it's not super like in detail of that, but yeah, it's still very intense, but I did enjoy it a lot. and I think I gave this also a 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10. It was super good, and yeah. So next, it's not really like a book. It's just a little book of Axolotl wisdom. Live your life like the world's weirdest, cutest salamander by Jessica Allen. It's pretty much just. It says, get inspired by the most delightful salamanders on the planet. With the over 30 axonyms based on axolotl traits, this little book goes beyond the lovable faces and funky fringe. You'll discover how to be a little more like an axolotl with sections on health and wellness, friendships and relationships, and work and home and life. Take it from the masters of resilience and cheer with advice on how to know your needs, own your heart, keep grinning, take care of your space, nature's awe, and much more. This little book of axolotl wisdom is perfect for amphibian enthusiasts, animal lovers, and anyone else who's looking to add more joy in their lives. So this one is just more of like a therapist's way of how to take care of your life and how to take care of yourself and how to make your life just a little bit better and easier. This was super cute, and I did like it a lot. And I also have, a nice, cute hyperfixation of autistic thing of axolotl, so that was really good. I gave it like a 6 out of 10. Little thing, but yeah. Next is Sanctum, an asylum novel by Madeline Rue. I have read the first book like years ago, like a long time ago when I was 14. I haven't read like her series in a long time. This is the second book. I also do have the third book, Catacomb, but it says the past is back to haunt them. Dan, Abby, and Jordan remain traumatized by the summer they shared in the Brooklyn asylum. By someone who's determined to keep their terror alive, sending the teens photos of an old-timey carnival, finally Dan receives a list of coordinates pointing to the abandoned houses in town near Brooklyn, and he is convinced that the only way to end this nightmare once and for all is to follow the trail. But when Dan discovers his friends arrive in the guise of a prospective students' weekend, they discover the carnival from their photos isn't just real, it's here on campus, and that this is where the terror just begins. It's a thrilling and creepy sequel to New York Times bestselling Asylum. Found photographs of real vintage carnivals help tell these three teens who exist on the line between past, present, genius, and insanity. I give this, I think, also a 9 out of 10. It was super good, and I really like how kind of like the supernatural type books are, but this was also like super good. I really like reading kind of more of like the thriller like suspenseful, like somewhat paranormal books. Those are really cool and really like interesting to think about. But yeah, if you've read the first book, you know how that went. This is the sequel where they just pretty much just try to like figure out what the fuck is going on. And all that stuff, so it was super good. And yeah, I'm also sorry if I repeat words. I just got back from my boyfriend's and it's been a long fucking day. I have a lot of books and a lot of shit to do, so yeah, bear with me here. Okay, so the next couple of books, they are going to be real fucking depressing, and so trigger warning on that, I guess. So you all know I struggle with food and struggle with my body image and all that stuff. I like to read books about those because it's relatable and, well, again, it's relatable. So here we have is The Purge Rehab Diaries by Nicole Johns. It's a memoir / self-help book. So it says, making yourself sick, purging, yakking, scarf and barf, self-induced vomiting, engaging in bulimic symptoms, starving, restricting, fasting, compulsive exercising, engaging in anorexic symptoms. None of these terms adequately describes the frenzy of an eating disorder. An eating disorder for most people is anorexia or bulimia, but there's an island between anorexia and bulimia, a no man's land that borrows from both diagnoses. The island is eating disorder not otherwise specified, ed nos. If you ever endowed food with the ability to control your life, then this book will strike an intense chord. It will be difficult to hold on to one's life and to sit in one's own skin, to breathe, or just to be in the throes of an eating disorder. For observations, it's uncomfortable. For suffer, it's extreme. Nicole has captured this discomfort with a raw story of intense detail that will keep readers on the edge of their own skin. It's comforting, honest, brave, and revealing, except a journey of its own within these pages. So, again, this is just about someone else's point of view of their life with an eating disorder, most likely, ed nos, so anorexia, bulimia, all that type of stuff. And it goes through what her life was like inside a clinic and all that stuff, and it's very, it's comforting and relatable because I'm the only one in my family that struggles with eating problems and struggles with body image and all that stuff. mostly just eating disorders in general. So I have no one to relate to, and no one understands why I have it or why I dealt with it, or all that stuff. And I was in treatment a couple years ago. I was in inpatient treatment where I just went every day for a couple hours, kind of like school. It was like an after school type thing, but I was there for 7 weeks to control what I had at the time was bulimia. So yeah, super relatable, and I liked it a lot, and it just is comforting in a way. So I give that a 7 out of 10. Yeah. So next is a book called Scars by Cheryl Rainfield. It says, Kendra hasn't felt safe since devastating memories that surfaced of being sexually abused. She can't remember the most important detail, her abuser's identity, and she's sure someone is always watching her, following her, and making her fear for her life. To cope, Kendra cuts, something that she's worked hard to hide. When her parents aren't helpful, Kendra finds support and therapy from her classmate Megan, a friend, and maybe more. Will Kendra find out who's stalking her before it's too late? Will the terrible secrets be exposed? Scars is a story of one teen's frightening path to the truth. So I give this book... I'm gonna give it a 6.5 out of 10, only because the when she found out who her abuser was, I couldn't read it. I was so fucking disgusted, and I literally wanted to vomit. I couldn't. I literally just could not get through it. I still managed to get through it, but I was so grossed out, and I couldn't do it. It's just so gross, and I don't like reading about this stuff. I didn't know this was going to have that in it. I just thought it was mostly about self-harm and all that shit. But it's just oh my god, it was so just why? I don't get it. If you're sensitive to that stuff, I wouldn't recommend this book, but on the same time, I would recommend you probably just read it once. I'm probably not going to read it again. I might actually, and just probably skip that part, but even still, I liked it, and I like relatable books, and yeah. So next is a book called The Best Little Girl in the World by Stephen Levenkron, who says, at first, no one knows that something is fatally wrong with 15-year-old Kessa. Not her parents, teachers, friends, or family doctor. No one knows Kessa avoids eating whenever she can and forces herself to vomit when she does eat. That she has an elaborate rituals for her personal hygiene, she has gone from an A student to failing, and no one knows until Kessa's weight drops from 98 pounds to 88, 81, 78, and it may be too late. Basing Kessa on a real-life patient, Stephen Levenkron, a reading authority on eating disorders, takes us inside her tormented mind in a narrative of chilling authenticity. Pulled into a dark obsession, Kessa is losing more than her weight. She's losing her chance to live. This groundbreaking story captures the terrifying reality of anorexia nervosa, the girl who is its victim, her desperate family, and the therapist who is her last hope for survival. Out of every 250 teenage girls is starving herself to death, just like Kessa Dietrich is. This riveting novel helps victims' families and understand this incomprehensible disease and fight it. So I give this... Bean, what are you doing? So I give this a 7 out of 10. It's a super simple read, but it's also such an old fucking book. This came out in 19-something. 1997, 1978. So this is such an old book. There is a movie about it, but you can't really buy it anywhere. Or you can't find it anywhere to watch it. But yeah, again, it's relatable, and it's about eating disorders, which... For some reason, it's easier for me to read books about issues like that because, again, relatable and it's comforting. But, yeah, it just goes along the line. It's kind of hard to read, especially because, I'm aware, so eating disorders are, one of the most, deadliest psychological diseases out there, and it kills 1 of every 5 people. So, I'm aware of that, which is probably why I'm not as bad as I am with it. But just reading about, I think just reading about how many people can go through the extreme of not giving a shit if they die or not, just to be the desire of being thin. So it is kind of scary to read because I am definitely afraid of death. It is my one core hardened fear of everything is dying. So yeah, it is a little kind of like intense, but I did like it a lot. So did I rate it yet? Like a 6, 7 out of 10. So yeah. Next is Second Star to the Right by Deborah Hautzig. So it says, Leslie Hiller is a bright, attractive, talented teenager who leads a privileged life in New York City. She's also a perfectionist. When she starts something, whether it's drawing or her homework, she will not stop until it's truly finished. This time she has started to diet, and Leslie finds herself becoming obsessed, getting thinner and thinner until she is forced to realize that her quest for perfection is killing her. First published in 1981, this groundbreaking novel now features an afterword by the author in which she discusses her own struggle with disease and devastating effects it had on her life. So some of this is also, I give this like I think I also give this a 6 or 7 out of 10. It's kind of like, I don't know. There's also just, let's see, which one? Hold on, I'm trying to see. I'm trying to figure out, because I don't know if it's this book or the next book. Because in one of the books, I can't remember, I think it's this one. Oh, yeah, so it's that one. So, I generally forgot what this one was about. I mean, again, it's all on the same topic, but it's very different, which is what I like. I like that there's a whole bunch of, like, eating disorder books out there, but they're all, like, all posted differently, but you know they're kind of just about, like, the same category. This one was still good. I read it in one day, or in one sitting, so it was very interesting. And again, most eating disorder books that are out there and that you do read, is they all have a happy ending, because it's all about recovery and all that stuff. And especially if it's like something the author struggles with, they also do like a happy ending type thing. Yeah, I give it a 7.5, 8 out of 10. That was good. So, last but not least, for now, I have like 4 other books over here that I still have to finish, but at least for now, just to get this over with, the last is thinandbeautiful.com. So it says, Maddie finds a dangerous inspiration online. 17-year-old Maddie has always felt a hole in her life, but she's finally found a way to fill it with her quest to mold her body into her ideal thinnest shape. When she come across a world of thinspiration websites where young people encourage each other to find in their mission to lose weight, she quickly becomes addicted. Finally, she has found a place where she is understood and she can belong. Maddie becomes a part of a group of friends who call themselves the GWS, Girls Without Shadows, on the pro-anorexia website thinandbeautiful.com. Here, she finds the respect and support she feels she doesn't get from her family and friends and so-called real world. Now in a rehab facility where they are trying to fix a problem she doesn't think she have, Maddie is forced to keep a diary tracing how she arrived at this point. Angry that she is barred from accessing her online friends, Maddie refuses to believe that she needs help. But will a tragedy change her mind? So, in this one, there are a lot of people out there who are so in denial that they have a problem, to even consider to think that they have a problem, even though they do. Because they're like, oh, I'm not anorexic, I just want to lose a little bit of weight, or something like that. Or, or think that, oh, it's not a big deal because I'm just trying to lose a little bit of weight. And then it's just like, it becomes more than just losing weight and all that stuff, I generally don't like how this went of just like, I'm not sick, you all are sick. I'm fine. I'm just trying to lose a little bit of weight. You guys are all crazy thinking that I have a disease even though I don't have a disease. Like, it's just so much in denial and so much like just angry, like it made me want to punch her in the face, if I'm being completely real with you. Like, it made me so mad. I'm just like, girl, you have a problem. Get with it. And I'm allowed to say this because I have issues too. So it's like, I'm not offending anyone. Like, who cares? Like, you have a problem when you have a problem. Like, that's just that. You can be in denial all you fucking want, but in the end, you gotta realize that you have a fucking problem. And also, the first steps of recovery is knowing that you have a fucking problem. But it's also, I did like it. So I do give it like I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. Only because her being so in denial just made me mad. But it was very intense because one of her online friends does, not Liv, which was very sad because she was always the more positive one. And I'm always just like, fuck. Whenever you're super positive about things, it means you're super depressed and want to die. And it makes me so sad about that stuff. But, yeah, I still like this one regardless. And, yeah, I will go through and, like, just show you the other current books that I'm going to read. But, yeah, that one was interesting too. So, the next books that I have that I'm going to read, I think I've already mentioned one of them that I haven't gone through yet. So this one is Paranoid by Lisa Jackson. So it says, there are people in Edgewater, Oregon who think 20 years ago Rachel Gaston got away with murder. Rachel still has no idea how a foolish teenage game turned deadly or who replaced her soft pellet airgun with a real weapon. When a figure leaped out at her from the darkness, she fired without thinking, and too late she recognized her half-brother Luke and saw blood blooming around his chest. Despite counseling, Rachel's horrifying dreams about that night continue. Her anxiety contributed to her divorce from Detective Clyde Ryder, though he blames himself too. But as Rachel's high school reunion nears, she feels her imagination's playing tricks, convincing her that objects in her house have moved. There's a hint of unfamiliar cologne in the air, and there's someone tailing her car or watching her home. She is right to be scared as connections surface between a new string of murders and Luke's death. Rachel realizes there's no escaping the past, and the truth may be darker than her worst fears. So it's been taking me over a month to finish this book, because I've been struggling to read these past few days, but since I have a lot of books coming, I genuinely need to start reading. But I'm like almost done with it. I'm halfway through it, so I mean, yeah, there's that, I guess. Next is Wasted, which is a memoir of anorexia and bulimia. So it says, why would a talented young woman enter into a torrid affair with hunger, drugs, sex, and death? Through 5 lengthy hospital stays, endless therapy, and loss of family, friends, jobs, and all sense of what means to be normal, Mara Hornbacher lovingly embraced her anorexia and bulimia until a practically horrifying bout with a disease in college put a romance of wasting away to rest forever. A vivid, honest, and emotionally wrenching memoir, Wasted is the story of one woman's travel to reality's darker side and a decision to find her way back on her own terms. I don't remember. So I'm not that far into this book. Also because the reading is so, kind of so dreadfully long that it's, not interesting enough yet, but I'm gonna give it a chance because it's definitely not an American, it's in English, but the person that wrote it is definitely not American. Her first her first nationality is not English, so that's why it's kind of hard to get through, because I'm so confused, because it's talking about shit that's I don't know. I guess I just haven't gotten far into it yet, so maybe I can't really judge it right now. But yeah. So next I'm reading is a book called Skinny by Ibi Kaslik. So it says, Holly's older sister, Giselle, is self-destructing. Haunted by her troubled relationship with her late father, Giselle is fighting an all-consuming battle with anorexia. Once a role model and top medical student, her life is spiraling out of control. As a track star, Holly struggles to keep her own life in balance while coping with her sister's mental and physical deterioration, and together they are holding on for dear life. Told from both girls' perspective as they narrate alternate chapters, Skinny explores love, pain, and the hunger for acceptance that drives us all. So, I'm halfway through this book. I'm almost done with it. It's pretty good so far, and I'll let you know after. And last but not least is Just Listen by Sarah Denson. So it says, when she's modeling, Annabelle is the picture of perfection, but in real life is far from perfect. Fortunately, she's got Owen. He's intense, music-obsessed, and dedicated to always telling the truth. And most of all, he's determined to make Annabelle happy. So this is another eating disorder type book that I've heard about, and I'm just starting it. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. So yeah, I also have other books coming this week, and because I like buying books. And yeah, so that is the ending for that. I'm sorry those weren't super long, super descriptive, but if you want to read more, I got them all on Amazon. So yeah, that's basically it. You know what to do. Love you guys, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.